So thank you all for coming to this week's Shelter and Studio Tour with Rhiannon Alpers. Rhiannon is a paper maker, letterpress printer, and book artist who started making paper early on at the age of 11. And she's always had a fascination with all types of paper and its possibilities. She's taught academic courses at SFAI, San Francisco Art Institute, California College of the Arts, University of San Francisco, and Columbia College Chicago. She's also taught workshops nationally, including the Center for the Book, San Francisco Center for the Book, and out of her own studio in the Mission District. Previously, Rhiannon worked as the head of studio operations and was production coordinator for the imprint publications for San Francisco Center for the Book. She was also the studio technician at Columbia College's Center for Book and Paper program before moving to San Francisco. And before that, she worked as a graphic designer and production bookbinder in San Diego and Santa Barbara. She's exhibited internationally, and her edition and one-of-a-kind artist books are produced under the Gazelle and Goat Press imprint, which is located in the Mission District in San Francisco at 1890 Bryant Street. And so today we're going to be taking a peek into her two workspaces at 1890 Bryant and at her home studio. So with that said, take it away, Rhiannon.
Hi guys. I wanted to welcome everyone and thank you for coming today to tour my studio spaces and take a sneak peek at my current projects. And so with that, we're going to start I'm going to show you into my 1890 Bryant studio. And I think, Sarah, you need to let me share my screen. Okay, so we'll be starting our tour at my studio in 1890 Bryant building in San Francisco. I moved to this building in 2008 on a friend's recommendation, actually from Center for the Book. My first studio in this building was roughly 200 square feet, and it's actually 2 doors down from where I am now. And then I moved into my current space, which is total 1,800 square feet in 2012. And one really amazing aspect of this huge studio is that it also has a common area that's shared with 3 studios alongside it. And this shared space is roughly also 1,800 square feet, and it's shared amongst 13 people. The space is mostly empty, and we use it for exhibitions, hosting workshops, open studios, conferences, and community meetings. And I personally have used this space for papermaking and bookbinding workshops over the years, and also conferences like the North American Hand Paper Makers and the APHA co-conference that happened in 2014. That was a fun event. So here's a little look at an exhibition that was in the space over the years. Give you an idea, it has these beautiful 12-foot high like warehouse windows. It used to be a mayonnaise factory way back in the day. So then we get into my space. My space is Studio 308 and has been a shared space since the very beginning. And like I said, it's 1,800 square feet, and currently I'm sharing it with 3 other women. And since moving into this larger studio, my work has been a combination of commercial jobs, commissions, editioned artist books, and one-of-a-kind artist books. And I've been able to house my papermaking equipment, printing, and bindery stuff all in the space, which was really amazing for my creative process and being able to produce a lot of different kinds of work. So this gives you a little glimpse into my just a week ago, what things look like inside there. And here's another view. Okay, so when I lived 3 blocks away, I could spend days and late nights there, and I loved printing or papermaking way into the night. But after having my son, things became a little bit more challenging, and I needed to find a different schedule to be able to produce work and be in the studio. So 2 years ago, I downsized from the roughly 500 square feet I had in that space to a little bit less than 200 square feet, which is what I have now. And what you guys are seeing. And I still kept my printing equipment and some little things there to be able to do printing and production. So as we're going through these pictures, you guys might get a sense of some of the machines I have. So I'll go through one more. This is from this view here. And you can see the presses and some inspirational prints and some prints I'm working on currently. And then just another peek in there. And so some of the equipment that you guys are seeing in the pictures, that is motorized CNP old style, SP15 Vandercook, nipping presses, an antique map cabinet from the early 1900s, tabletop clamshell, a guillotine, a small amount of type and wood type. So I'm happy to talk about specific machines. I know everybody loves to dork out about that at the end, or if people have questions. And all the pieces that you guys are seeing in these images are shared freely between me and the other person. And I feel like that has allowed me on a budget and the other person to be able to make work and not have to have everything ourselves. So we both really love it. And I'm grateful to maintain the machines for the both of us. So also in the studio, a lot of these things wouldn't have been possible without my assistant, Asa Nakata, and she's been with me helping out for more than 6 years. And this is the two of us after a fun day of paper making together. And then just a glimpse of one of the open studio prints and a workshop in that space. So it gives you kind of a sense there. So then here we go to part 2 is at my home studio. So I'm going to turn off the share and take you guys on a tour here. Great. Okay, so welcome back to my studio here. And let's see, so my studio practice changed a little bit when I moved home. In a lot of positive ways, it allowed me to work in any free moment that I had. If I had a half hour, or I could stay up late and do what I needed to do whenever I could. And so my husband and I built a lot of the pieces that are in this space and changed the layout to work for getting as much stuff as we could here. And I'll show you a few things to reduce my footprint here. So I'm going to switch my screen to walk you guys around the.
Rhiannon, I think that camera is off.
It is. I'm going to turn it back on. There we go. Can you see now?
Let me see. Yes.
Find it and clip that one. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to walk you guys around. I'm going to start the tour. Let's see, is it pinned to the other?
Yeah, sorry. We're good.
Okay. So I'm going to start you around. This is a Nanso Banyan print that I have. I'm so grateful. She was a really important aspect of my creative process when moving to San Francisco. And I'm just really grateful to have her kind of looking over me when I'm making work in the studio. And you can see a little glimpse of my online teaching setup there, the bottom part that I'm using right now. So I'm going to try to go nice and slow so we don't get seasick or car sick here as we go around. And you can see I have a quick print and a mini quick print. I saw Grendel Lokvist showed her little mini quick print, which is really fun to have that for traveling. And a little dry mount press and flat files. And I sold my very large jock board shear that you may have seen in the corner of in my studio to get this little doll cutter like the ones at Center for the Book. And I'm so happy. It's really nice to have a good cutter. You guys probably all know that. And then as we go around, I have this awesome wall of bookshelves. A friend before moving away gave me all these bookshelves, and then my husband and I mounted them to the wall to enable me to have lots of storage, so you guys can see all the good books and reference material and tools I've got in there as we go around. And then a lot of teaching models at the end here. And then all those drawers of materials there. Oh, and I happen to leave one drawer open. This is my tool alley here where I've got all my good tools, and then bookbinding models are all up here for classes or for my own work. And then reference stuff is all down there. So it gives you guys a sense of things. And then one of the most important things I feel like is having a nice bench. So for Christmas 2 years ago, for my Christmas present, my husband and I built a 11-foot long desk that's by, height for me. You guys probably know how tall I am. So it's a really nice, tall, deep desk that I can work at. And it goes the whole length of the wall there with some display. And I've got a nice window, which if, as of next week, the bars come off the window there so I can see outside a little better, which will be really fun. I'm excited to not have bars in front of there. And then also in front here, I'm working on a exciting commission project that's a 6-inch by 40-inch custom sheets that I'm making. So that's a fun deco box that I made earlier this summer to do some paper making. And then we just go around the edge here, some printer and a cutter. And then that's a circle there. So I'll switch back to my other camera. Let me turn this guy off. There we go. Okay. And then, did you already switch back to this guy?
Yep.
It's great. So then let's see, some things I wanted to point out were that this has been amazing to keep my creative work going with my small son. I mentioned that. The hybrid studio practice, you guys can probably envision that it's a little bit hard to remember what's where when you have 2 different locations. So I've split it really cleanly, that printing stuff happens at the other studio, and then I come back and I even do my prep and stuff oftentimes here, and then do my printing and come back and organize, and edition work and bindery work happens here. My beater and my hydraulic press and all my paper making stuff is here, and I do it in the garage, and then I have tables and stuff I pull outside for until it's raining and stuff. So most of my paper making happens in another corner. And then let's see, I have done a lot of paper making and eco printing this summer, which was kind of fun as a way to do what you can, right? Everybody's kind of figuring that out. So that was good to be able to go outside and use a lot of the plants in my garden for both the paper making and the eco printing. And then what I thought I would do is just, I'm a super tool dork, so I thought I would just show you a couple of tools, but I would actually love to hear questions about tools or equipment people might be interested. I didn't go into the models of everything, but if people are interested, I can always tell a story or give details about equipment that people might want to know about. So I'm going to switch my screen real quick here and show you a few things that I've been working on. So I had a few cool tools. These little glasses were something that an instructor of mine gave me that you hook onto, they're antique, that you hook onto your regular glasses, and then it adds magnifying quality to it. And then some of my tools, which I can talk more about in a second. So sneak peek at some of the books that I'm working on here. Is this one here about, it's entitled Tracing Outlines. So here's a couple of quick snippets of this book here. This is a model, and then I'm going into production in a couple of weeks. And then this book here is called Whispering Stones, and it's letterpress. That one was just letterpress printed with magnets and polymer. And then this one here is letterpress printed and mono printed. And this one is a carousel binding, so there's a double folio there. And then this is 4 colors of blues and blacks and purples to make a really deep night sky with letterpress printing behind there. And again, this is a model. I'm going to be hopefully going into production in December on this one. So it gives you a sneak peek of some of that there. And then the last thing, I'm a sucker for specimens. So I thought if people might want to see kind of the stuff that I'm super excited about, I keep this tray at the back of my desk, and then the nuggets or specimens that are on here sort of move go on and off depending on kind of what I'm thinking about. And in a lot of ways, actually, I treat this space as kind of like a sketchbook of what I'm thinking about or what things I'm finding. So I guess I might just point out two little things you might not know. This is a piece of hyacinth bulb paper that I made maybe in 2003. It's abaca and hyacinth there. And then what's another fun thing? This is a fossil that I got at, some of you guys might know about the bone room. And so this is a really beautiful fossil that I love. And this actually, I don't know how many of you guys know Hannah Tostian, but her and I would go for walks in Berkeley. And we found this actually right near her house in near the North Berkeley BART. And I'm not sure if it's man-made or actually bird-made. It looks a little bit too perfect to be made by nature, but it's so incredibly cute that I've kept it all these years for that. And then what else is a good? Oh, this is something someone from a workshop actually gave me, is a birch tree, possibly an aspen. It doesn't seem like an aspen, so I'm going to go with the birch from Alaska. And so at a class I was teaching about specimens, we were trading specimens, and that was kind of a fun piece to get trade specimens with other people. So maybe Sarah, you want to see if anybody has questions or?
There are a couple in the chat, and maybe we'll get a few more in the next couple of minutes, but a couple from Amy Lund, who wants to know, does the setup and organization of your studio affect your practice and your work?
Oh yeah, let's see. Say that question one more time, because there's like 3 parts to that one.
Many parts. Does the setup, or how does the setup and organization of your studio affect your practice and your work?
Oh, totally. Well, I guess I would say the first thing is that having worked in a production bindery to start out, like, I guess you're sort of trained in a way to think about like, what is your body doing sequentially, and then maybe your studio should be set up that way to think about, do you do this, then this, then this. And then I always think about light, like what things, is there a good light to work, but also I actually really like to have things, these little shelves, you probably saw them at both my other studio and this studio. In probably 3 or 4 of my other studios, I had these as well, that those actually change all the time. And when I start a new project, I put things that I'm thinking about or I think are related that other people have made, or maybe that I have pieces of. And so I feel like that actually having those and changing them when I am having new ideas coming helps me so much to keep circling back and to remind me of inspiration or people kind of helping you. So that would be another thing. And then also this wall of bookcases has been a game changer, that I always had a hard time finding a place for things that I have to be able to see it to know that like I don't like a lot of boxes where you can't see inside, because then I have to like read every one and know where it is. So it sounds so silly, but I do better when things are clear. And so having this space, and I have found a brand of boxes that's clear and fits. The other thing is, do the things fit inside? So I found one, and I'm hoping they are not discontinued for a little while, so I can slowly buy some to put stuff in it. So I'd say having a space I can see.
That seems helpful to know. What brand are they?
Should I not tell anybody? They'll go out and buy them. No, just kidding. No, I'm totally kidding. It's actually from Daiso, that Japanese dollar store, and it's a shoe box. So I never would have thought of having your shoes in a clear box, but maybe so they could see, if you have that many shoes, you want to see what they are.
Yeah.
And so that, and then also silly, but Target has these brand of clear bins that have purple handles, and they didn't make them for a while, and now they started making them again, but they're really great sizes. They're kind of squarish and the handles don't break, and so silly stuff, but
no, that's not silly at all. It's very useful. Well, you might have just answered this question, but also from Amy, she asks, what's a best studio practice you're willing to share? Also very broad.
Yeah. Let's see. I think having a space where your iterations of a project can have a place to live, actually. That a friend of mine is so amazing about making model after model after model for her editioned work. And that was something I wasn't always doing. I was kind of doing it up here in my brain, like that's what I'll do. But she physically just forces herself to make a new model and then has a space for them all to live so you can go back. In graphic design, which I've done a lot of, and in my education, when I was learning graphic design of commercial work, you just save all your revisions, even if it's up to 22 or whatever, revision 3, 4, 5, 6, so that if something happens, either the client changes their mind or were like, wait, that idea 4 revisions back was way better. You can go back, and that step, I would say, has been a game changer of like having access to my previous versions and keeping them all in a place where I can go back to it. So
Nice. I never have the wherewithal to do that either. So
I know, me too. Well, here I am 20 years in, and now I'm like, yay. Took a while.
What on the I believe it's called Whispering Stones. Is that
Yeah.
what's the exterior? What's the covering material? It's hard to tell.
Oh yeah, it's a probably I don't think there's any way to see it from afar, but it's a ultra suede material, so it's super soft. This book is about how comforting the night sky and kind of talking across a great distance can be. And so I wanted the book to feel really soft and comforting. And so it's a ultra suede, thanks to Eleanor Ramsey, actually, that I fell in love with ultra suedes and all the things you can use them for. You know that well, Sarah.
Right? Oh yeah. And you have to buy so much, then you got a lot of bits left over. I've got charcoal gray for years.
Oh no.
Do you have any of the eco prints or paper that you've been working on for over the summer that you could show?
Well, one of them, this really big one, is somewhat boring because it's white, and I tried to get the artist to expand their idea and make it gray, but so that's boring because it's just white. And then let's see, 1 second while I walk away. Oh, you know what's right behind me? This is the teeniest piece, but here's one. I don't know if, here, let me switch if it's easier to see. Is that a little easier to see, Sarah?
Yeah.
And this was just a test, so it's on a offcut of stuff. So the plants that I'm using are, let's see, they are raspberry, strawberry, fennel, Japanese maples. There's 3 Japanese maples on this block, and I talked to the neighbors and they're letting me use some of theirs. And then ferns. We have a whole little area where we're growing a lot of ferns. So there's like 4 different kinds of ferns that I've been using. And let's see, what other things? I really like using some grasses more for their silhouette than that they give any pigments off. And then so 2 or 3 things come from the park right next to my house, and I wasn't sure if I thought I would chatter on for ages if I showed pictures of the park, but it's McLaren Park, which is gigantic. It's like it is the size of Golden Gate Park, so if you can picture it being that big. And there's a lot of different I guess I would say environments or ecosystems within the park. And so sometimes eucalyptus goes into the water, my liquor, I guess you would say. But yeah, so those are some things that are in the eco-printed. And then the summer batches of paper were mostly cotton or rag materials. And then I've been collecting sunflower and dahlia stalks for a couple of years. So that batch is just about to start of cooking dahlia stalks.
Nice. I think we've got time for this last one, maybe. Okay. Bridget wonders if you can show us one of the Colophon Club things. She says edition.
Oh, They're, no, I think I tidied them a little too much, but so this is the cut part of it. But I could definitely send, and if anybody's interested, you could post on Instagram or email me and I'd be happy to send you a lot of pictures. I did tidy it a little bit too much to get to that. That was a good question though.
Darn. Okay, well, if there aren't any last questions, then I think we'll wrap it up for this week. Thank you so much, Rhiannon.
Thank you, everybody. And if I'll be on for a minute, if anybody wants to say hi or ask a question, that's great.
Yeah, so next week we'll be touring the Aesthetic Union letterpress shop in San Francisco with James Tucker. And I finally got smart and added the link to that in the feedback email that you all will receive in about 15 minutes to make it extra easy for you to come back next week if you want to. So.
And his studio is gorgeous. It's so beautiful.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.